Hello YouTube, Captain Mac here, and welcome to the Captain's Brief. That's just a cool little name I'm going to give this because I'm going to try and do this more frequently. We've done this a couple times, kind of like a channel update sort of thing going on here. Yeah, so I'm going to just call it the Captain's Brief and try and be a little more consistent about it. But it is going to depend on something, and you'll find out about that a little bit later in the video. Now, for the most part, I'm going to record this in one take and try and get through it relatively quickly. I did it once already. It took 40 minutes. I'm not going to talk for 40 minutes, I promise. So with that said, let's dive in. I want to talk about what we're going to cover in this Captain's Brief really quick, and then we'll get into each item individually. So first of all, I want to talk about the current projects I'm working on. I want to talk a little bit about Mac Air. I want to talk about you guys, the subscribers, and then I want to talk a little bit more about life of a virtual airline pilot, virtual cargo pilot, and the PMDG 737 tutorial series, which if you're asking yourself what the heck is that, don't worry, we'll talk about it. A little bit more about VFS, which is Virtual Flight School, and that will also tie into the last point, which is some video suggestions from you. So with all that said, we're going to dive in, but first I want to mention what you're looking at in the background here, and this is just a video of me editing a video. So you see like a screen just popped up. I'm getting ready to take a screenshot here for a thumbnail, things like that. And the reason I put this up back there was some of you in the past have asked me, hey, can you do a video of you editing videos? And I thought about doing it, and I started doing it once, but with commentary and all that, it just wasn't really that great. And so I went ahead and when I was editing this video that's going on right now, which is actually part of that PMDG 737 tutorial series we'll talk about, I just recorded that and then threw that on there as the background for this one. Now, let me just say, the main reason I think that there's not a lot of point in me doing a editing video is because I use Cyberlink PowerDirector, and I use an older version of it, which is a standalone version where you buy the product and then you have it for a lifetime. You know, what we expect when we buy something. Vice the way they do things today, which is the Adobe model where you pay a monthly subscription fee to be able to use their editor, which is just ridiculous to me. I don't want to pay a monthly fee. And unless my channel ever gets to a point where I'm making enough money to support that, I just don't see the point in even considering it. That being said, if you'd like to see a tutorial on how to use this particular editor, I'd be glad to put one together for you, or point you in the direction of some pretty good ones, because quite frankly, there's some out there that are probably better than what I'd come up with anyway. I'm no master of video editing by any means. So that's what you see going on in the background. The video that's being edited is the second video in this series for the PMDG 737 tutorial series, which I'll talk about in a little bit. So with that being said, let's talk about my current projects. I really have 5 current projects going on, including the one that I just mentioned, the PMDG 737 tutorial series. I also have the ongoing project of the life of a virtual airline pilot, the life of a virtual cargo pilot. Those are 2 ongoing series. And then I've got, I guess I was wrong. I've got 4 series going on right now. The fourth one would be something that hasn't started to become a series yet. It's a very, very complicated project that I'm trying to put together. It's complicated in the sense that I need to learn things that I've never had to learn before, like how to create and animate models in Blender and so on and so forth. And the idea behind it is to create a series that has a full storyline. That's what I'm trying to do. Now, whether or not I'm able to do that, I don't know yet, and that's why I'm being relatively vague about that series. But if I can get it together, I'm actually going to be pulling all of you for some voice acting if you're interested. So be on the lookout for that if it happens. And the other side of that is, if I am able to get everything together I want to make that series happen, it is so complex that one of the other series is going to have to sit off to the wayside for probably a couple of months. And the idea behind that will be it would be a full season, would be 10 episodes for this series. And the way I would do it is I would record, edit, and compile all 10 episodes before releasing the first one. And then I would release them on a regular schedule. But in order to do that and have the time to do that, I would have to put another series off to the side for a little while. So that will be an indicator to you if I'm able to get this up and running. If you see a series like Virtual Airline Pilot drop off for a little while, that's probably going to be why. So that's kind of the current projects I got going on. We will talk about 3 of them a little more in depth here momentarily. Moving on then, I want to talk about Mac Air. And I can't talk about Mac Air without first talking about the amazing staff over there. The staff over at Mac Air, they're great friends, they're great people. I just love those guys to death. They make that airline run. I don't. I'm just sort of the name behind the airline, if you will, right? So, you know, first of all, a shout out to all of the staff and the pilots over at Mac Air. You're all some fantastic folks. So what I want to talk about for you guys for Mac Air, first of all, if you're not familiar with my channel or what Mac Air is, Mac Air stands for Millennium Aviation Company. We just call it Mac Air for short. And that is a virtual airline I started 5 years ago. We had our 5-year anniversary just last month, and it was fantastic. It was a great time. I did not, unfortunately, get to participate in the group flights for that, which I was really bummed about, but that's just the nature of things. Sometimes I had to work, and that's just the way it goes. But if you're looking for a virtual airline that offers you more than what everybody else is doing, then I'm going to tell you right now, Mac Air is for you. So let me just lay this out real simple. At Mac Air, we have 5 different divisions. We've got the professional division, the open division, the cargo division, the historical division, and the charter division. Okay, so we have the ability to fly what you want, when you want, where you want. Or if you want something really structured and realistic, you can go over to our professional division where you have to actually take check rides with a live examiner from the airline doing the check ride with you in order to advance your rank in that particular division. So, and that's just a little sampling. The historical division has real world historical routes for like the Constellation and stuff like that. And then the cargo division, of course, is focused on cargo routes and so on and so forth, cargo aircraft, the large 777, MD-11, things like that. Okay, and all of these can be flown from a single profile. Now, when we first started this, Mac Air was the only airline that did anything like that. That was actually part of the reason that this airline was started, because I didn't like that I had to fly with 3 or 4 different airlines and maintain my currency with those airlines in order to meet all of those different things, all those different types of flying. Now, if you're the type of person you only like to fly one aircraft or one type of aircraft, that doesn't mean you can't have a great time over at Mac Air, because we still have so much to offer over there. And that's really the other side of what Mac Air offers that a lot of virtual airlines don't. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not bad-mouthing any of them. There's some great ones out there, and there's some really, really bad ones out there. However, when it comes to Mac Air, what we have that most virtual airlines, at least in my experience, tend to lack is an amazing, amazing staff. And that's not, and again, just let me be clear, I'm not bad-mouthing the staff at other virtual airlines. It may sound like that to somebody. That's not my intent here. What I am saying, though, is I remember being at a particular virtual airline, I won't say which one, where I needed an answer to a question before I could do my next flight. And so I went on the forums and I asked that question, and it took almost 3 weeks to receive an answer from the staff. Unfortunately, during that 3 weeks, my currency expired and they retired me. So when I finally got an answer to my question, I had to turn around and ask them again, hey, that's great. Thanks for the answer. Now, can you please reactivate my account? That took almost another 3 weeks. You see, that's a problem, right? And that's been a problem with a lot of virtual airlines. It's a lack of responsiveness by the staff, all right? Now, at Mac Air, all of our forums are through Discord, and I can just tell you from personal experience, most of the time that I go onto our Discord, there is another staff member on there. It's rare that there's not. The point is they're on there so frequently that if you have a question or a concern, most likely you're going to have an answer within a couple of hours. I don't think we've had maybe very rare exception where it's more than 24 hours before you receive some sort of response to whatever your question is. So, the staff is very responsive, but they're not just responding to you. They're doing so in a manner that shows that they really enjoy what they're doing. Okay, the staff loves doing what they're doing. It's all volunteer stuff. And listen, just like everybody else, they're taking their own time to fill that staff role. And so at some virtual airlines, I've run across folks who feel like they're, like they're doing you this massive favor, and so you should be like uber grateful for it. And I know for me, from a pilot perspective, my perspective was, listen, I am grateful for what you're doing, but I'm trying to do something here too, and you're supposed to be facilitating that, and you're not doing a good job of it because what? Either you don't have enough time or you just don't really have the desire or something like that. Now, that's not true of all of them, of course, and again, not bad-mouthing anybody. Over at Mac Air, I've never seen that. It's a great group of folks over there. I am still the CEO of Mac Air, and I'll tell you right now, if somebody was on the staff acting like that, I wouldn't even have to say anything about it, because the Chief Operations Officer, Joe, he'd be on him in 2 shakes of a pickle. I'm going to tell you right now, Joe takes care of business over there. He really makes that airline hum and run, and the rest of the staff, they work so seamlessly together. It's just fantastic. So a special thank you to all of them, and for those of you who are looking for a virtual airline with a different experience, with a friendly and responsive staff and a great community, I'm telling you right now, Mac Air is something you want to check out. Now, with all of that said, last thing I want to say about Mac Air, not too long ago, Joe got in contact with me. He said, listen, we want to update the website. We'd been talking about it for a while. And he says, the website hosting service, they won't respond to me. I've been trying to contact them for months. And we were concerned about that, obviously. And so we said, okay, let's start looking at what other options we have available in order to make sure we don't run into this problem. Because our concern was, if the website goes down, how are we going to get it back up if we can't even get them to respond to us? Well, sure enough, the website did go down. And Joe, being the hard-nosed individual that he is, former Marine, Semper Fi brother, he didn't let up for a second. He stayed on them, and he messaged them, basically blew up their messaging system until finally somebody responded with a kind of half-hearted response, and I won't get into all the details, but the long and short of it was clear that we needed to move somewhere else. And so we did make that move, and we've moved over to a new hosting service with TFDI, and they've been fantastic from the start, super helpful, wonderful group of folks over there, and we just couldn't be happier about it. With that move, we've also been looking at not just updating our website, the look of our website, but updating our airline in a lot of other ways. And so what you're going to see in the near future, those of you who've been with Mac Air for a while, what you're going to see is a change. You're going to see a change in our logo. Our logo is going to change. We're going to it's going to take a little time, but over time we're going to provide custom Mac Air paint liveries for various aircraft. I don't want to say all aircraft, because let's be honest, if you try to do it for all aircraft, you're talking hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of aircraft. That's just not going to work. But certainly for the more popular ones, and so on and so forth. And so the new design looks absolutely amazing, and this just gives me one more opportunity to give a shout out to our staff and their families, right? Because the time that staff members take away from their families to be involved with the virtual airline, that's an important component, right? That's their time and their family time, and a lot, over at Mac Air, the families are very, very supportive of what our guys are doing over there, and they get involved. And so one of our staff members, when him and I were looking at some options for new logos and new paint schemes or liveries and stuff like that, I had a couple of ideas, and a lot of the other staff members pitched in some ideas. And then one of our staff members, his wife, she is really, really good with Photoshop. And I mean really good. Let me just say, she's really good. And you're going to see what I'm talking about when this stuff comes out. But she started playing with some ideas. And she agreed to work with me and with the airline to create this new look that we're going for. And boy, I got to tell you, she's done such a beautiful job on it. You guys are going to be blown away with what she's come up with. I know I most certainly am. So a special thank you to Jim and to his wife, Carrie, for all of your efforts and what you guys have done to bring this new look that we're bringing into Mac Air. I'm super excited about it. So you guys, in the not too distant future, look for a change to the website. Look for a lot of new stuff coming down the pipeline as far as our branding and stuff like that. And then, of course, the last point I want to make is we continue, when I say we, I really mean the staff. The staff over at Mac Air continues to put together new tours that give you a different sense of purpose and that have awards at the end and so on. Those have not stopped. We're still making new tours. We got 100 and like almost 150 tours now. It's just amazing the stuff you guys are doing over there. So special thank you once again to everybody over at Mac Air, all the staff, all the pilots. You guys make this airline fantastic. And for those of you who are looking for that experience, looking for that community, I promise you, you won't be disappointed with Mac Air. Okay, what I want to talk about now is I want to talk about you guys, the subscribers, really quick. And I want to talk about 4 things, and I'm going to try and be relatively brief about this. I want to talk about views, watch time, likes, and the YouTube algorithm. And I try not to make too much effort into mentioning some of this stuff at the end of my videos. I just don't think that's really the point. But let's just start with the obvious. You guys, just like my friends and the staff members over at Mac Air, you guys have always been fantastic. You're the reason that this channel continues to exist and have a purpose. There was a point there where I took a year and a half off. I had to take a full year and a half off from making any videos whatsoever. And when I started that break, there were 9,000 subscribers on my channel. And when I came back, there were 9,000 subscribers on my channel. That says something. That says something special to me. And during that time, a lot of you reached out to me just to see how I was doing, make sure I was doing all right, see if I needed anything. And excuse me. And of course, you always expressed that you hoped that I would make more videos in the not too distant future. And so I'm very grateful to all of you. I continue to be as grateful as I have always been. Speaking of subscribers and views, I was surprised by something one day, and I mentioned this in a video where I watched this. It was a flight sim video. I don't remember who it was, but it was a very, very small channel. By small, what I mean is, I don't mean that in a negative sense. I just mean he didn't have a lot of subscribers. He had, I think, 20-something subscribers, something like maybe 35. I don't remember. It doesn't matter. He didn't have a lot of subscribers, probably a relatively new channel. He posted a video, and within 2 days, he had something like 30,000 views on the thing. And I was just astounded by this for 2 reasons. Number one, as mentioned, I got a little over 9,000 subscribers. Most of my videos, even videos from years ago, still haven't hit 9,000 views. Now, some of that makes sense, but on average, I get about 200 views in my first week, and then over the course of the next month, I get another 200, and then it starts to really peter off, with a few exceptions. And I'm always a little surprised by that, to be honest with you. Now, of course, you don't have to watch my videos. You don't have to be subscribed to my channel. But it does surprise me a little to have 9,000 subscribers and so few views. But I was far more surprised to see a channel with very, very few subscribers that had a massive number of views. And so I mentioned it in one of my videos because it wasn't that good of a video, if I'm being honest with you. It just wasn't. And somebody mentioned something in the comments, something that I have seen before come up in my comments and I had always ignored, but it's sort of clicked with me and I looked it up. I'm not going to say what it is because there's a lot of debate about whether or not it's even allowed. I don't know if it is or not. But either way, essentially what you can do is you can purchase views and subscribers. So you pay this company money, and then I'm assuming they have people they pay to watch your videos, including the ads and everything like that, and to subscribe to your channel. And that is how people are getting 30,000 views on a crummy little video. And I'm not saying that in a mean sense. It just wasn't that good of a video. Not trying to be a jerk about it, but it wasn't a great video. So how's he get 30,000 views in 2 days? He paid for them. There's no other way. Because none of his other videos have that many views either. And that point's going to come back here in just a minute. So I could do that. I'm not going to do that. I looked at it, I considered it very briefly, and then I thought, no, why would I do that? And let me tell you why I won't do that. I have, like I said, I have 9,124 subscribers as of the recording of this video. When I took a year and a half off, I had 9,000 subscribers. I came back, I had 9,000 subscribers. Yeah, I'd lose a few here, gain a few there. But generally speaking, I've got a lot of subscribers that stick around the channel, even when I'm gone for a while, right? That's not what these guys are getting, right? So those subscribers will stay because why would they unsubscribe? They got paid to subscribe to the channel. They don't really care one way or another. But when you start looking at the views, That video had 30-something thousand views, but all of his other videos had about 15 views, right? So see, the catch there is if you want to keep that kind of viewership, you have to keep paying for it. I'm not going to do that, right? I make my content for you guys to watch it. Whether or not you choose to watch it is up to you, but I'm not going to pay somebody to watch it. Now, I firmly believe that God has blessed me in so many ways in my life and with this channel. And one of those blessings is that I've got over 9,000 subscribers who pretty much genuinely all want to be here. Yeah, some bail out, some come, some go. That's fine. But I got over 9,000 subscribers without ever doing anything like that. I didn't even know you could do that until about a month ago. So why would I change that now? I believe God's going to bless my channel even further, and I believe a day's coming in the not too distant future where I'm going to have 30 or 40,000 subscribers, and guess what? Every one of them is going to be a subscriber that I earned by simply making good quality content for you guys to view. Now, with that said, again, if you don't want to watch the video, of course you don't have to. I want to talk about the likes, though. You guys could do me a massive favor, okay? YouTube's new algorithm for their search function, it does rely on the likes more than it relies on the tags that are in the video description. It used to be the other way around. Now it still does rely on those tags a certain amount, but the more likes and views that a video gets, the higher it shows up in the search. The more likes it gets, the higher it shows up. The more likes it gets, the more views it gets. The more views it gets, the more likes it gets. You guys get the point. That's kind of the idea, right? So you'd be doing me a huge favor if you give the video a thumbs up if you enjoy it. With that said, there is another aspect to the likes that I really want to start making an important part of my channel to a certain extent, and that is your likes, your thumbs up or thumbs down on my videos are a gauge for me to determine how much you actually like the content I'm creating. So for example, if I get only like 2 likes on this video and it gets, let's just say this video gets 500 views and I get 2 likes, even if I don't get any dislikes, if I only get 2 likes, then apparently it wasn't liked that much. So why go to all the time and effort to make the outline and discuss all these things if nobody really wants to see it? Your like, your thumbs up on the video, as silly as it sounds, your thumbs up on the video is an indicator to me that you enjoy that particular type of content, and it's an encouragement to create more of it. Now, with that in mind, there are some things that I'm always going to create. My virtual airline pilot, virtual cargo pilot series, those are going to continue no matter what. I'd still like to get the likes on there because they are helpful for the search queue. But for other videos, including the PMDG 737 tutorial series, which we're going to talk about here in a minute, if I'm not getting a fair share of likes on that, listen, I've got 7 of those videos made, and I've got 2 edited. I'm going to edit the others. By the time I'm done with all the editing for the recording and the editing for those 7 videos, it's going to be more than 48 hours of actual production time for just those 7 short videos. I'm not going to spend 48 hours producing and editing videos that people don't want to see, because what's the point in that, right? You know, the point here is to make content that you guys want to see. So if you guys like those, be sure to give them a thumbs up, and I'll mention it again when we talk about it. Be sure to give them a thumbs up so that I know that you're enjoying that content, and I'll continue to create those videos, that series. I'll continue forward with it, okay? I think that's about enough about the only other thing would be the watch time. So my videos used to all average about an hour and a half. I got them down to about an hour a while ago, and now I'm down to about 40 to 45 minutes is my video average. But the average watch time for my videos is 8 minutes. Now again, just like you don't have to subscribe, you don't have to do anything on my channel. There's no requirements for anything. But it does make me wonder, what is it that nobody wants, that people are not watching in these videos, right? Like, I changed my process so that if I've done a full flight tutorial on an aircraft, I don't go through cold and dark startup procedures anymore. In fact, we pretty much hop in almost ready to taxi most of the time. And that seemed to be something that a lot of you appreciated, right? The point overall is there is nothing in the YouTube analytics that tells me what parts of the video you're skipping to, right? So over time, something will show up in the timeline that says most replayed, which is probably going to be the landing 90% of the time. But the point is I don't actually know what you guys are skipping and what you're not skipping. So take a couple minutes if you wouldn't mind. Give me some more feedback in the comments and let me know, hey, this part really just kind of seems to drag on to me, or I'm not really that interested in this. If I can get some consensus among my viewership of what you guys do and don't like in the videos, I can trim them down a little bit further. I'd be happy to do that. That's not a problem. Okay, so let's move on to the life of a virtual airline pilot series really briefly. This is the series that started this channel. I started it way back with Phoenix Virtual Airways. I don't know if they're still in existence. They probably are, but I had heard they might go under. Not sure. It was a pretty good group of guys over there. I still actually talked to a couple of them. My good buddy Stuart, I heard from him not too long ago. Haven't heard back, but he's busy. You know, the I forget his name, but the gardener out in the Potter shed has been causing problems for him for years. So hopefully I'll hear back from Stuart here on the email shortly. But my point is that the Life of a Virtual Airline Pilot series was the series that this channel started with. And if you want to see something fun, go back and just look at my original videos of that series compared to the videos today. It's pretty crazy. And I might actually do like one of those timeline things then, Captain Mac then and now, you know what I mean? But anyway, that series is going to continue no matter what. Now, of course, I always appreciate if you're giving the videos a thumbs up and so on, because like I said, it does help that algorithm. It'll bring more viewers over to the channel, hopefully. But that series will continue. I'm in the middle of doing a USA Boeing 737 tour on that series right now. I'm going to continue that tour until it's done. And then when I get close to being done, I'm probably going to start tagging you guys in the videos, asking you for what you want to see us doing next. The same thing can be said about the Life of a Virtual Cargo Pilot series. However, there has been a bit of a change, excuse me, a little hiccup there, to that one in recent weeks here, where I've started flying in X-Plane a lot. Now, I didn't make X-Plane and Microsoft Flight Simulator a main topic of this particular video, but I just want to briefly say I like X-Plane 11. I do. It's a really good simulator. And there are some great aircraft offerings in there that are simply not available in Microsoft Flight Simulator. And from what I'm seeing, generally speaking, it looks like the developers for X-Plane, Laminar Research, have done a better job of providing, what's the way to put it, of making add-on development more accessible than Microsoft has through Asobo. Now, I don't know if that's actually true because I'm not a developer, but there's a lot more stuff developed for X-Plane than there ever was for P3D or for FSX. So, you know, there's something to be said about that, and some of it's some really good stuff, and some of it, like that Flight Factor 777, can be rather disappointing. But the Flight Factor 767 is actually a really, really good aircraft. I like it quite a bit. And so the Life of a Virtual Cargo Pilot is probably going to be seeing a lot more flying in X-Plane than it is in Microsoft Flight Simulator for the time being. Now, X-Plane 12 is getting ready to drop any day now as of the recording of this video, and I can't wait to snatch it up. One of my motivations in getting that 767 on X-Plane was that it's a free upgrade by Flight Factor to the X-Plane 12 version whenever they do their update. So I'm definitely going to be spending more time in X-Plane, and when X-Plane 12 releases, I'm really looking forward to that. That being said, we're not going to bail on Microsoft Flight Simulator. It is a really good simulator, substantially better than previous offerings from Microsoft. So I'm very grateful for that, and I look forward to what the future of that simulator holds as well. And of course, when we do get some proper like PMDG 777 and stuff like that into Microsoft Flight Simulator, we will do some bouncing back and forth where we'll get some of those nice heavy flights in Microsoft Flight Simulator as well as in X-Plane. And that brings me to the PMDG 737 tutorial series. And again, that is the editing you're seeing going on in the background right now as I'm speaking. Well, I don't know what it's showing because I might have to speed that up in the background. So it might be going faster than the actual process. But either way, that's what's going on in the background right now, is editing for the second video in that series, which is the fire warning tests. And that's what that series is. It's individual short videos. I think the total length of that video is about 12 minutes. So it's individual short videos that focus on the detailed aspects of the operation of that aircraft. And ultimately, the plan for that series is to eventually you know, do emergency, you know, abnormal and emergency procedures as well. That's what I want to do with that series. However, as already mentioned, we're talking close to 48 hours by the time I'm done editing just the 6 or 7 videos that I've already recorded. It's not a quick process for those. There's a lot of stuff. You know, PMDG did an amazing job with that airplane. I think I mentioned it over and over in that series. Because there's more depth there than most of us realize. There really is. There's a lot more depth there than most of us realize, and a lot more realism there. But most of us never really dive into that because we're not quite as concerned about it. So I'm learning things like right now, the videos after the fire warning test, I think we go into aligning the IRS. Like there's like 5 different ways to align the IRS. I'll bet you didn't know that. Some of you did, but most of you probably didn't. I certainly didn't. I only knew of 2. So you got 5 different ways of aligning your IRS. Well, that's a video right there, right, by itself. Just how to align the IRS is a video. The one being shown right now is just how to conduct the fire warning test, what you're doing, how it's done, so on and so forth. And that's it, right? So they're short videos, but very in-depth. And well, as I started diving into the production of the videos for the FMC, I was blown away by the amount of detail that PMDG has put into that FMC. I haven't even come close to getting to the PMDG options yet, right? You know how you got all the different aircraft options and simulator options for the aircraft itself. That's a side of the FMC that's specific for PMDG aircraft. I haven't even gotten to that point yet. I mean, it's very, very in-depth stuff. So I'm going to rely very heavily. Those are going to start releasing in the not too distant future. And when they do, it's going to be 1 per week. I'll talk about that here in just a second. It's going to be 1 per week, and it's going to continue to be 1 per week every week until those are done. If I do not see that those are getting a lot of thumbs up, I'm not doing any more of them. Just not going to do it because it's a lot of work for something that all I can tell is that you guys don't like them that much because they're not getting thumbs up. Nobody's jumping on there and saying, yeah, we really like this. You know, so give it a thumbs up to let me know you like it. That is an indicator for me that you want to see more of that content. If I don't see that on that series will stop after that last video, which would be kind of a shame because it's a pretty good series. But I want to focus on content you guys want to see, which brings me to VFS, or Virtual Flight School. I've already put out a few videos in that. All of my virtual airline tutorials are ultimately going to make it over to the VFS playlist, and this has already taken almost 40 minutes, I can tell. They're going to make it over to the VFS playlist because anything tutorial related, I think, should go under the Virtual Flight School banner. And so that's what I'm going to do, but I need to know what you guys want to see. It's easy to say, oh, show a tutorial on this, show a tutorial on that. I need some feedback from you guys. What do you want to see tutorials on? What type of tutorials do you want to see? I put an in-depth approach plates tutorial on my VFS playlist, and it's hardly been touched. It's hardly been touched, but I hear people all the time asking, you know, how do you read these approach plates? Well, listen, that tutorial's got that information, but people just aren't watching them for some reason, and so they're not getting a lot of likes, and so they're not being found in the search queries. So just something to keep in mind. And then video suggestions in general. If there's things you'd like to see, there's one of my subscribers a couple of times now. He's asked me to do a birthday video for him on July 4th, and I've got no problem doing that. I enjoy doing that stuff. I had the very distinct honor of doing a memorial video for our friend Todd, who passed away earlier this month. It's August right now, and I was very, very grateful to be able to do that. So I don't mind. Not just don't mind, I enjoy being able to do different types of videos too. So you can definitely do video requests, and I'll get to them as soon as I am able to get to them. And I think that's pretty much everything, guys. I'm sure I probably missed something, or I said I was going to touch on something and then forgot. But I appreciate all you guys very much. I truly do. I want your feedback on what you want to see with this channel so that it goes in a direction that you want to see it go. So please focus on giving me some comments for some feedback. Some of you are great at it. Some of you make some wonderful suggestions. Some of you give some wonderful tips, and I appreciate all of it very much. And I look forward to continuing to see that in the future. And like I said, I've harped on it enough. I'm going to try not to harp on it too much in my videos themselves. If you like the content, do give it a thumbs up. That lets me know that you like what you're seeing and that you want to see more of it, and that'll help guide the direction of the channel going into the future. That's it. That's all and no more, ladies and gentlemen. Until next time, as always, keep the blue side up unless otherwise instructed by ATC. God bless you all and have an absolutely wonderful day.